What up, doe? It is Thursday, March 26th, 2026. Welcome to Delinquent Dialogue. It is MSJ and Mad Max with you again. And Max, I have started World War III in my own fucking neighborhood, dude.
Again?
I got to get right into this. This is something, oh God. So something about me is I do writing for a website called The Enjoyer. They took me on a few months ago, and I debunked a bomb threat in the state of Michigan. We'll get into that later, another episode. One of the craziest things I've ever done in my life, to be honest. But the editor took a liking to me, and, you know, keeping track of what goes on in Michigan is very important to me. We grew up together. You've been in Cali for a few years, but I know Michigan's deep and, you know, very important to you. Your mom's here. Your mom's here. Both your sisters are here. And I have a tattoo of Michigan on my back. I'm a fisherman. I'm a hunter. I love this stupid state. However, some of the things that go on here drive me fucking crazy. And I've been given a little bit of a platform to talk about it. And one of these things is in my community. I live in Ferndale, Michigan. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Ferndale, Michigan is known as Fabulous Ferndale.
I've been here
It's so fabulous. And that goes a few different ways. And I've loved this city. It's been great to me. I got my house 15 years ago. The downtown area is bumping. City looked nice. My property value tripled overnight, basically. That helps to me loving it, whatever. But some things started happening around COVID. And, you know, a lot of political, you know, when Trump came in office in 2016, people lost their minds, literally, figuratively. We know it is what it is. It shouldn't affect what goes on locally in my town, right? Well, since the last 5 or 6 years, we have the craziest rat problem that I can possibly think of, and it's insane. And no one gives a shit. You take your dog for a walk at night, you see them scurrying across the road. And I understand, you know, certain big cities have these issues, and the rat issue has gone up exponentially in towns. It's new builds are, you know, affected. Detroit's had a little bit of a renaissance. They come up the railroad tracks and they make their home in my neighbor's backyard, who's a hoarder. Okay. And it doesn't. And so what there is there's this Facebook group called the Ferndale Rat Patrol. It's got almost 10,000 members, dude. And it's basically a way for community members to, it's more like a trophy case at this point. They're not even trying to really help get this shit taken care of. And again, this going back to Fabulous Ferndale, you know, you got to kill the rats the right way. You can't hurt them too much. No sticky traps, nothing crazy, right? Which, if there's a problem, dude, isn't that something you just want gone? You know, like no poison.
Eradicate the problem. You can use poison.
Exactly. Let's get this done. Well, Royal Oak, which is the town to the north of me, doesn't seem to have nearly the problem. Now, the city issues garbage cans that have nice and thick. They got covers, you know. I don't know what the rules are for finding, but Ferndale has zero regulations about putting trash out early. Nothing. So I finally broke down, man, and I'm going to show you. This is a picture that I plucked from the Facebook group, because it is striking when you take a look at just how massive these things are, because I mean it massive and I mean it literally. So I'm going to show you this bad boy. This dude. Bite through the fucking recycle bins. These things, I mean, that looks like a cat, dude.
That's like a New York City pizza rat right there,
bro, straight up. And again, you can't poison them. And these Facebook groups, you know, and again, Ferndale is a very strong LGBT community. Great, awesome.
Why can't you poison them? It's illegal, you said?
Oh yeah, not a lot. No, it's frowned upon. The neighbors will freak out if they see the rat box, like the boxes that have them, and it's
frowned
just
upon, but not illegal, right?
Not illegal, yeah. Okay. Because then the poison gets into other animals, whatever. So like they promote foxes, owls. They just think nature is going to run its course. So I finally had enough and wrote this article. And ever since this point, I have been kicked out of every local Facebook group that we have. So I now have no idea what's going on in my community. the city council member who I called out directly, whose platform was running on getting rid of the rat problem. She calls herself the Rat Lady. Channel 7 ran a story on her. The Detroit News ran a story on her. And I'm not going to call her name out again. If you want, go read the article at theenjoyer.com. And it's just flat out honesty. And what drives me nuts is that it's just typical politics, right? No matter what it is, there's loopholes that we gotta, it's in the works, or it's coming up, and we're talking about it to put it on the plan. Okay, nothing's being done. There's trash everywhere. My city is dirtier than it's ever been before. Actually, I remember the first time I ever met you, hung out with you in San Francisco, they had the poop app.
Oh, yeah.
The app. Yeah, I remember like driving around with you in downtown San Fran. You're like, don't go over there, but over here is tight. But poop's there and poop's there. And I'm just, wait, is this real poop? Yes, it's real poop.
Human feces.
Yeah. So these days, and that's the other thing too, Max, I'll go out to my garbage bin on Friday, and I have 3 dogs, and I clean up after them when we go out, obviously, like a normal fucking frickin' person does. And the rats will eat the poop out of and then I just have to go out there. And I finally broke. And I said, you know what? I messaged my editor and I said, hey, I'm going to do an article on this rat infestation. This Facebook group that I was formerly in, the Ferndale Rat Patrol, is more like a trophy case these days. People just posting their foot next to these things. Look at the size of this one. And the lady who runs it chimes in. She's like, yeah, we're doing great, you know, and baby rats have 60 babies a year, dude.
Now,
60.
What exactly did you say about this lady?
So,
do you remember exactly what you said? Was there any personal attack in there?
Yes, there was. Specifically because she is the main person who runs the group. So yeah. I called her out specifically because her platform on running for city council was being the rat lady, right? So me being an idiot, I assumed and was hoping that something would be, you know, you get elected, something goes in the works immediately. Well, instead, the city a couple weeks ago passed a anti-ice moratorium. Okay, so skipping right over the Ferndale rat problem is this imaginary problem that these fucking white ladies have in my community, where they think that ICE is going to go door to door and going to be taking out citizens, which, you know, turn off the TV, guys. Like, what are we doing? And, right. You know, to touch on another thing, you know, the amount of people that I've had to correct about calling ICE the Gestapo, I want to shoot. It's not even, it's so pathetic, dude. There's frankly no comparison. I understand that you see the violence and things like that. That's just not, it's not fair. It's not even like it's just really disheartening that people would the worst thing to ever happen in our history to you know, the thing that's going on with legal aliens and what undocumented. My apologies. We're not gonna, and you know, are things a little too violent? Sure, maybe, but these people are more worried about the 0 ICE raids that have happened in my community than they are in keeping their backyard clean. And that's where I finally just, you know, I lost my mind. And I said, you know, if you can jump through hoops to get this stuff done as quickly as you got this anti-ICE detention center. Our city's so small, there's no place to put a detention center, by the way. Like, they just, one lady after another with their T-shirts, and I work.
Virtue signaling.
What's that?
Virtue signaling. They just want to let everyone know that they're down with the cause.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's so pathetic. And like I said, all I ask for is for people to clean up their yard and to get something done. So I said to the person in previous communication, I said, hey, I have a solution for this. People throw their trash out on the street 3 days early. You walk through the next day, there's rat holes in them. They eat through the bags. There's trash everywhere. The trash man picks it up, falls out the bottom. He's out there scooping together what he can to try and put it away. But a very easy solution to this is trash cans that are distributed by the city that have lids. You know, it's not for as much taxes as we spend. Something that I think is pretty easy. So that's step one. But step two,
that's what we have out here. Everyone has the cookie cutter trash bins.
Yeah, and you guys, and we have those recycling bins, but recycling is another scam because literally you'll see the garbage men come by and dump the garbage in the recycling, and the whole load is gone. If anybody ever has time, go spend a morning or an afternoon at a recycling center, and you're gonna see there's just minimum wage dudes who are in. They're just It's all going in the garbage. It's California and Oregon
going
has
to the landfill.
California and Oregon has a lot better solution because they have the food waste bins, I believe.
Yeah, I mean certain places, but for individuals, like individual households, you don't.
Okay. I thought certain cities do in California, and they're much better about the cleanliness. And I know I've seen in the past, just the way things are ran, and not getting too political with how California's ran. But in the terms of the recycling thing, people care a lot more. Here, pizza boxes can't be recycled, so you throw that in with everything else. The grease gets on everything. Right. It's done. It all has to get thrown away. So the second thing,
recycling. I throw all the greasy shit in the recycling. All the
I mean, at least you think you're
recycling.
Yeah, you think you're doing the part right. So the second thing is the city's constantly complaining about we need more money, and they just tried to raise our millage for I don't know what it was this time. The police department, which is fine by me.
Before we divert from the rats, I think I have a solution. What they did in Italy for their rat problem, they just put out a whole bunch of feral cats.
That's what Australia did too.
Feral cats in Ferndale, and your rat problem's gone.
Now, I was thinking the same thing, and I know, like I said, Australia did the same thing, and now they have a feral cat problem, which is hilarious. I didn't know that about Italy, though, and I think other cities have done something similar. But did you know it's illegal? It's illegal for dry ice, like a guy to go around with dry ice, because that's what you put it in the holes and it suffocates them humanely. It's illegal. I tried to start a business doing it. State won't let me. Nope. You got to go. You have to have this specific kind of dry ice that's animal. There's the loopholes, dude. It never stops, bro.
Yeah, they did you a favor, though, because you don't want to do that. You don't want to be dealing with rats all day.
I know. I've tried helping my neighbors before and go out there and snap traps with them. But it's just these people are so dirty. And I said to the one I was helping out this LGBTQ couple, and I was driving to their house twice a week and trying to snap rats for them. And dude, absolutely, the rats are just going right around my traps and just towards their garbage because they know where the buffet is.
Right. You got to bring your cat over there.
My fucking outdoor cat. My cat doesn't do anything but eat other people's food. He's such a way. My last cat who ran away, R.I.P. I miss that guy. But he used to. I had like 30 rats in my front lawn at one point. He would just decapitate everything. But yeah, man, I wish they would fine people for putting their trash out early, and I feel like they could generate money. Now that's something that I would be great at, Max. Me driving around the city every night and just finding people for putting out garbage. That'd be a dream come true, dude. Be on top of those people. But yeah, I wrote this in hoping to getting
meter maid.
Right. That's another story. And getting involved with the community. And luckily, even though I got kicked out of the groups, my friend sent me today. He goes, yeah, the lady who you wrote a story about, she's organizing a citywide cleanup event where they go around and help people deal with the rats. So it worked in some aspects. So something's being done. I'm in the process of writing her a follow-up email just to say, hey, I come in peace. Please don't key my car. I have a personalized license plate, so no bueno with when you can see her.
You make enemies in high places.
I know. And Elise goes, should we need security camera? Like, yeah, babe, we already have one. I'm going to put up another one just to make sure, got to get them from both angles.
Right.
But I'm out here trying to help do what I can in the city. And, it sucks that I apparently am the only one who gives a shit, and that I'm getting the feedback that I'm getting from my local community members, because they're just not happy. And, I wrapped it up with hopefully that they can do something soon. I think, like I said, she is doing something. So we'll see what happens. But the one thing I didn't say, Max, is happy opening day, brother.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Eat them up.
Our buddy Bert was on Netflix last night. I heard that show was a dud. The whole thing on Netflix, which again is crazy. And
Giants were on there, I guess.
They didn't score a run.
No,
no, they got killed by the Yankees. But it's a big year in Detroit, and we were talking about how the Tigers they're such a big deal around here. When the Tigers are good, the summers in Michigan or in Detroit are amazing. Going downtown is so much fun. And having a squad put together, and everybody is putting the Tigers to win the division, which only means one thing. They're not winning the division.
Not going to make the playoffs, yeah.
They're not winning the division. And anybody who follows, the last 2 years have been pretty interesting. The Tigers' collapse last year was one of the most epic collapses in recent history. And then the year before, their charge to the playoffs, they won like all the last games to get in. They had a 0.5% to get in. They went on this crazy run, and they both got curb stomped in the end and didn't make it past where they needed to go. But this year, we weren't even supposed to be good the last 2 years. They came out of nowhere. Tariq Skubal, the Tigers' back-to-back Cy Young winner, has been, he's a left-handed pitcher. He's an absolute stud. And the guy is back on the team for just this year. But you know what happened? This offseason has been tumultuous is the word I would call it, based on, a guy who wins back-to-back Cy Youngs you think you'd want here long-term. He's a left-handed pitcher, too. And the Tigers aren't paying what they want, what they should be paying. He wants more years. His agent is Scott Boras, who's notorious for gouging teams and not taking advantage, but he gets the most for his client because that's the most for Scotty Boy. So makes enough sense. But the Tigers ownership, since Mr. I passed away, has been ran by Chris Ilitch, who has been notoriously one of the cheapest owners in baseball, not sports, but baseball. And your old team had the San Francisco, the Oakland team had the cheapest owner in sports, John Fisher, who literally they moved to Vegas because they weren't paying anybody. The people weren't going. The Coliseum was a dumpster fire. You go to a bunch of A's games?
Yeah, because it was so easy. It was like I would go to A's games for free, and it was super chill. You could chill in the stands, and there was no one there. You could smoke it. You could smoke a blunt in the stands, and no one would.
That's awesome.
Yeah, A's games were great.
So the Tigers are projected by everybody, and we were talking earlier. These Barstool fucking turds. Barstool's fallen off so far. Dave Portnoy's lost his mind. There's only a couple, maybe one or two good shows there these days. But when you have a bunch of bozos who only know their home team, who don't, I'm never going to comment on the Yankees or the Mets or, because I just don't know them, and, maybe one day if that's my full-time job, sure. I better know what's going on.
Do you know about this rookie, the guy that we're calling up, who's supposed to be
Kevin McGonigal,
best player in the minors?
So that's where I wanted to talk about, because for how iffy the Tigers were, they did nothing this offseason other than they signed a guy who purposefully last season got mad at his catcher and threw the wrong pitch. His name's Framber.
Oh, we signed that guy?
He was the biggest pitching offseason acquisition, and he showed up a little fat to camp. And he's a bad teammate from everything, that I've come to understand. And you just don't do that. And it was his fault. He gave up a home run, grand slam, whatever, after his catcher called a pitch. He wanted him to push him off the mound, like hold up. He threw it anyways. And then the next pitch, the catcher called for a changeup. He threw a fastball, hit him right in the chest. And just a no-no, dude. But he's on our team now.
It shows that clip proved how if a pitcher wants to hit you, they can hit you no matter what. I didn't realize that, because I never played baseball at a high level, how good the pitchers were at just hitting the spot. But if they want to hit you, no matter what, they're going to fucking hit you. And you're fine, even if you're the catcher and have your eye on the ball the whole way to yourself.
Well, that's why knuckleball throwers, there's not too many of them left, but knuckleball pitchers would have their own specific catcher that would just only catch, because they could the only ones who can get a read on those damn things. And if it was just a normal catcher, they just eat pitches all day long. It was just, it's also crazy too.
Good? Is this guy, besides, the attitude issues, the locker room issues, is he a good player?
Yeah, he was the top pitching free agent that was on the market for pretty much the entire offseason. The guy and so here's where you get lost though. The Tigers, Skubal came up in the Tigers organization. He's won back-to-back Cy Youngs for the team, right? It's not our money, so I don't care. But pay the man. He's done enough. He's got gas left in the tank. I understand if he wants 7 years. The Tigers only want 5. He's had some injury problems in the past. I get it. But then they bring in this guy, Framber, who could be a clubhouse issue, and they pay him a shit ton more than what they were going to pay Skubal. They tried to pay Skubal like 15 or 17 million. He went to arbitration. The arbitrator, which again, that whole process is ridiculous. I don't even understand how that whole thing. You go to court with your pitcher and your ownership. I don't quite get that. But the arbiter was like, "What the fuck are you doing, Tigers? Like, he should be the highest paid pitcher in baseball if this was the way it goes." And so they come in and bring in this guy. So the other thing too, bring in Verlander. He's an old man now. JV's 4th in the rotation, and that's going to be a banger in terms of tickets and things like that. You know, right. Kate Upton's back in town. Woo! Yeah. Again, another over. We should have done this last year, the trade deadline. We really could have used him down the stretch. It would have been a pretty big acquisition for us. But JV's back. And the Kevin McGonigal kid, he crushed spring, absolutely monster. Number 2 prospect in baseball. Now, the Tigers, there are some weird rules with keeping players in the minors and getting an extra year of their, what the hell's the term I'm thinking of? Yeah, of under control. You get another. If they stay under, if they start the season in AAA and then you bring them after 12 games, you get their contract extended another year. Baseball has more stupid rules. They have like 3 drafts. It's very silly. But he made the team.
Yeah, that's why I know nothing about baseball. You know, I know a little bit. I watch the World Series and I'll pay attention to the Tigers from time to time. But that's why I like hearing this from you. I wanted a little education on the Tigers this season.
Well, seam heads who are watching this, the baseball experts who might get this are going to make fun of me because, you know, Framber, Valdez, like I forgot it. You know, I know their names and it's early in the season. I watched plenty of spring training. But that's the other thing. The Tigers network and watching television and watching sports teams in Detroit is so confusing at the moment that they have their own network now that just came out a couple days ago. You know, you have to pay $20 a month for this subscription, $20 a month for FanDuel subscription. The Tigers and Red Wings are owned by the same person, Chris Ilitch, but they're on different TV stations to start the year. It doesn't make any sense.
All the hockey games on ESPN Plus or something like that?
Not here, maybe for out of towners, but for here, you have to have the FanDuel network, which is part of the Amazon thing, and then you have to have now the Detroit Sports Network, whatever the hell they call it. They just announced it too a couple weeks ago. So up until very recently, before the season, we had no idea where we were going to even watch this team, and so the addition of Valdez and McGonigal, and a lot of people are calling McGonigal the savior, which I hate because that puts a ton of pressure on the kid. And
right, they said the same thing about Castellanos. Castellanos is supposed to be our savior.
Castellanos couldn't field though. McGonigal is a hell of a fielder. Plays third base, plays shortstop. Does he
hit dingers?
He hits bombs. He is a lefty.
So I want every time. I'm going to call every McGonigal homer a McGoner. Every time he hits a homer, it's a McGoner.
Yeah, our announcer Jason Benetti and Andy Dirks, they're going to love that. Andy Dirks is on our calls now these days, and he's really good. And then we have Jason Benetti, he's basically a whore to all the other league. Whatever big game is on, they like pull Benetti off our broadcast and send him to. He's missing Tigers opening day to go do the Dodgers game because it's on national TV or something.
That's bullshit. Yeah,
so
that's
strange.
Far cry from Rod and Mario. The golden duo. If Rod could just control himself.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
Rod didn't have to beat Mario's ass that one day.
Over a chair. Over a chair.
It's never just over a chair, though. It was pent-up aggression that just reached a boiling point.
The professionalism for those two to do it for as long as they did, nobody had a clue they hated each other. Nobody.
Yeah, they're good.
And they hated each other. Like, hate. I wish you had one thing we got to load up is the Rod Allen drop where he goes, I forget who hit it, but he goes, second deck. And it sounded like sucking.
Yeah.
It's one of the best bites ever. It's one of the best clips ever. I don't. Rod's somewhere now. I don't know where he is, but I don't. Mario's. I don't know what Mario does either. But man, what a duo!
Somewhere. Yeah.
And those are. I'll be honest too. You know, you look back in nostalgia. Those are the best days of my life, period. In terms of we were in college, we went to the World Series. You know, I got to take my grandmother to the World Series. You know what I mean? So, Rod and Mario will always have a special place in my heart. But Andy Dirks is solid. He was on those teams, and he's the play-by-play. Like he gets a little too. They get a little too chummy off the baseball stuff. Okay. They'll start talking about Pokemon or something, just middle of a broadcast, which. I get it. It's 2026. You can't just beat people up with baseball. They get bored. But, yeah, it's looking to be an exciting...
Announcers are the best announcers on TV. Like, when it comes to sports announcers, the baseball announcers are so much better than everybody else because they have so much fluff to fill. They have so much time to fill.
True.
They are really fucking good because I don't watch much baseball, and I remember I was watching a game last year, and... maybe it was a Detroit game or maybe it was a San Francisco game, but the announcers were just cracking jokes and I was laughing my ass off. And I don't give a shit about baseball. And I was like, I mean, dude,
it's 12-0 in the bottom of the third. You got some time to kill. Like you got to really fill some airwaves because this thing is over with. But the pitch clock has changed the game. Absolutely changed the game in so many different ways. You have to get to a baseball game by the first, before the game starts these days. Before the pitch clock, I'd show up to Comerica Park where the Tigers play and just game starts at 105. We'll get there at 120 and it'll still be the first inning. Not anymore, dude. They speed those things along. You're out of there in 2.5 hours. It's fantastic. Very good thing they did this year. They're bringing in the robot umps. Did you know about this?
They're calling the strike zones.
Yeah, so you're still gonna have the guy behind
every player has to get measured to their exact height and
a lot of guys lost
strike zone.
A lot of guys lost some serious inches on their height. There's Bregman, whatever, he's on the Cubs now. Alex Bregman, who the Tigers wanted, he's shrunk from 6 foot to 5'9" in 2 off seasons. So either he's like my grandma or but I never understood why you need to lie in base like. I don't get that.
They want people to think they're bigger than they are. Just like all the basketball players lied for so long.
Except for KD.
Except for KD lied and said he was shorter than he really was.
Yeah. KD's 7. Yeah.
Boogie was listed at 7 feet, DeMarcus Cousins, and KD was listed at 6'11". And Boogie's like looking up at KD like, bro, you gotta move. We're not taking this picture side by side.
Seriously, bro, you're gonna blow up you're blowing up my spot here, dude. Get away from me. But
I understand for basketball why you lie about being taller than you are.
Yeah, football too, wide receivers and stuff. Throw a couple inches on there. That way, it gets in the scouting report, and you might make a cornerback who's a little bit be like, oh shit, he's 6'3", and then he gets out there across him. He's like, oh, this motherfucker's not 6'3". He's whatever he is. But yeah, it's very interesting how this is going to go, and I'm terrified. Everyone's taking the Tigers, and it's just one of those things where somebody bets on your team. You just think to yourself, I don't want to do this. And with how cheap the Tigers organization is, if they get off to a bad start, if they start, let's just say 10-20, the management's going to be looking to move him. And we run a very Moneyball type system, cheap players, lots of guys, and the way that Chris Ilitch runs his baseball team, it's just not the way that his dad did. It's and we'll see what happens. But I'm terrified. I hope we can start off hot and keep this thing going. So.
Do you think Skubal is in sort of like a Giannis situation where it sort of depends on our outcome this year, or is he gone? He's gone.
Oh,
no matter what.
He's gone. There's no chance. So Skubal was supposed to pitch in the World Baseball Classic. He pitched the one game against Great Britain, and then he didn't. He came back to hang out with the team. He didn't even pitch because his agent says, "Hey, man, we can't get hurt in an exhibition match." Well, a game that Skubal could have started against the finals, we threw out some other guy. We ended up losing. But if you had Skubal out there, who's just so good, we probably would have won that game. I mean, it's just how it goes. And Boris wouldn't let him do it. And the way that this thing is, the way that the Tigers disrespected him this offseason, only offering him what they offered him, the cheapest amount they could possibly offer him.
He had to go to arbitration to get more money.
Yep. The fact, they made him go through the whole thing, and then they signed Framber for way more money, who's, just a guy off the street. I'd feel disrespected too. And they're not going to give him the extra years, and he's going to go test the market. The Tigers aren't even going to be close. You know where he's going. He's going to the Dodgers. He's going to the Yankees. He's going to the Mets. It's the same cast of characters who just blow everybody out of the way. I think the Dodgers payroll's $1 billion. They're deferred money, but they have everybody. And yeah, they're in Ohtani's, obviously I would want to go play with Ohtani more than anybody else in the world, man. That guy's truly the best athlete I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's not even close. It's not even close.
What's your prediction for the Tigers this year?
I'm not going to do, but
just hit me with a prediction. Come on, lay it on the table.
They're not going to win. They're going to finish second in the division, and they're going to be racing for the wild card. I just feel like that the Royals are gonna. It's just how things work, man. It's baseball. It just doesn't always go the way that you want it to be planned. We have really shitty right-handed hitting, and that's going to be an issue eventually. And I don't know when it might be, but I just truly hope that they have to get off to a hot start, and just hope that other teams start selling. But last year we were on fire. Cleveland sold everybody, and we ended up losing the division and falling off. And yeah, you got to stay healthy. You got to keep it. We got to hope that we just start off hot, or they're going to start trading guys. I know it. So there's our baseball preview for all those seam heads out there.
Now, you had one more thing you wanted to bitch about, right? Something going on with the BTE energy rates over there. Something inspired you to write another article?
Thank you for doing this. So this is the most important thing I've ever written in my entire life. I truly mean that. I'm not exaggerating. I'm 39 years old and 40 in a couple months. But what's happened in Michigan is it's really disheartening, and it's really disgusting. So in 2023, the green energy scam is something that I have really didn't think was that big of a deal until a couple of years ago. Solar panels, sure, they work, they don't work, I don't know. But signed into law by our governor was a series of public acts that take land from local communities, and if a large company comes in and buys that land, they can put up solar fields or wind farms in order to make Michigan fully green energy efficient by 2040. Okay. So the community doesn't get an option, don't get a vote, nothing. They just take it and put up solar farms. And these farms are hundreds and sometimes thousands of acres of farm land that you could grow. Corn and soy are Michigan's two biggest crops. And these are places. So you're replacing actual things that are green with solar panels from China. Okay. And PA 233 is the thing that does that. It's PA 231 to 237, I believe. But what comes along with that is what I found out in the past few months is there's a group of 3 individuals who are the ones who make these laws happen. Okay. So basically, let me rewind real quick. The other problem that we have going on in Michigan is the data center problem. And this one is brand spanking new because obviously data centers are, a very new concept. AI is blown up and it's everywhere. We're not getting away from AI. So what these data centers do is they're in bed with DTE Energy. And Michigan is one of the worst grids in the country. We lose power constantly. Not only that, it's cloudy. Ice storms up until 2 weeks ago. And what they're doing is they're putting these data centers in the middle of the state, nowhere near. They require billions of gallons of water a year to keep cool. Right. And they're diverting rivers, and they're working the companies have to be powered by DTE Energy. That's the only utility provider that we have in Michigan. Well, there is a group of 3 individuals who were appointed by Governor Whitmer who have the final say and approve the solar farms and these data centers and the wind farms, okay? And something hits their board, their desk, and they approve everything because the governor appointed them. It's her initiative. And again, there's nothing local
Right.
municipalities can do about it. What's that?
And it's money. It brings money in. People are getting paid off of it.
So that's the crazy thing. So you mentioned the utility spike. So a month ago, DTE Energy they didn't just raise their rates. They have to go in front of this board. And they went in front of this board and they say, hey, we want ratepayers. They call us ratepayers now. They want us to pay $500 million extra this next year for electricity. Yet they're moving in solar panels. Wouldn't you think that our bills would be going down a little bit because they're moving in this way? Dude, they sell this power to other states. It's not even an option. Even if you live next door to these things, you can't just plug into these things. For whatever reason, it's all out-of-state companies that are doing this. DTE's putting up a few, but it's not lowering our bills. So the Michigan Public Service Commission was kind enough to only allow them to up our bills by 4.6%, $250 million this year. Great, thanks. By law, they're only allowed one rate hike per year. So DTE says, okay, all right, we got you for 5%. Well, guess what? We're coming back in April in 3 weeks, and they're going to go back in front of the same board for next year's rate hike. Okay? They're already they've raised our bills something like 15% in the past 2-3 years or some shit. These assholes at the Public Service Commission, Dan Scripps, Catherine Paratek, and Shaquila Myers are the three people who were appointed by Whitmer. And it's just a yes. Yep. They're just yes men who do what they're told. And once something, like I said, once something hits their desk, they do exactly whatever they want. They've signed NDAs. Yeah, let's get their faces on here. So here's the article. There's Danny Boy. He lives in Leelanau. Nowhere near any of these damn solar farms. This is Catherine. She's in Plymouth. Just, and then here's Shaquila. She's in Lansing. And they are taking our farmland. So in the past, I think it's past 4 years, 500,000 acres of Michigan land has been purchased by solar and data companies. And what's going to happen, Max, is since we have to be this green energy initiative, they have to power these data centers, dude. So what does that mean? More solar farms, more data centers, or more wind farms. Did you know windmills don't even work when it's too windy? It's too dangerous.
No,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. If it's too windy, they got to power them down because they might fall and hurt and fall over. What are we doing? There was just we had ice storm. There's two solar farms that are going up in northern Michigan, Max. Northern Michigan, Otsego County, Sheboygan, brother. Those people didn't have, because of the ice storms and snow, they didn't have power for a week and a half last week in the middle of March, brother.
Right.
How is this going to work? So every single data center that they're putting up is, so you want to talk about green energy, right? But you're putting in data centers that eats up water, takes up all of our DTE energy, which is already crap, gridlocked anyways. And you're telling me, and you're diverting rivers, and they're just going to poison. They don't have any data on how it poisons the water. They're moving it. They moved the Saline River to put up the Saline data center. They're moving a river. How is this green?
Take that Flint water. Why don't you just take the Flint River? Take that water.
No,
You can use that.
The east side of Detroit is a perfect candidate for. What are we doing? You know, there's
Right.
places that people don't want to go, and Flint, perfect. You know, I don't want to put any. God bless the poor people of Flint, man. But there's a lot of infrastructure there from the automakers leaving. Go throw up a data center, and you know the kickbacks that they talk about. Oh, we're gonna give local schools $10 million. $10 million.
We never see that. Just like the casinos are supposed to give money to the local schools, it's all a bunch of bullshit. Some Kwame Kilpatrick or someone like that is sitting getting rich and fat off of all these tax.
It's so funny you say that. The Michigan Lottery. We gave $1 billion to schools this year. Which school?
What school?
Yeah. Which one? University of Michigan, you freaking jerks. Like, no. It's where? Where does it,
Gretchen.
where does it go? It drives me up a wall. And I have another article coming out that I sent. I don't know when he's going to publish it, but I did a little data search on our governor's homes. Dude, the governor's mansion isn't powered by solar. Her house and wherever the hell she has her cottage, not powered by solar. it's just for me or for thee and not for me type situation, and it's so disheartening. And Michigan's next governor, she's already got it in the bag. She's gonna win. She's a Democrat. She's 100% gonna win. Her husband got a huge he puts up data centers. Okay, so he got U of M Stephen Ross money. It's coming. And she is going to decimate this state even further, and it kills me. It kills me because I'm looking for a house out in the country, and the last thing I need is cutting my grass, feeding my cows, and the next thing you know, the property next to me goes up for sale. And next thing you know, there's bulldozers coming through, knocking down trees and putting up solar fields. I don't know what I'll do, Max. I'll be out there in the middle of the night with a ski mask on, unplugging things. You know that, man. Like, seriously, it's can't have that. Can't have that. And you bring up a great good point. There's places that are maybe better, and data centers there's only like 20 people that need to ran these things. They just need water. It's not like a thing that goes.
Well, Elon's talking about he wants to build a data center in space. That's a good place for a data center.
Great place for data center. And also, the Greenland thing. Sorry, Greenland. I don't give a fuck about you. It's hard for I don't care. Like, put it there. And also too, why do they have to be? Northern Canada is desolate. Go put it up there. Why does it have to be in Michigan? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. But they want the Great Lakes water. Oh, water's down this year already, by the way. And that's where I get lost on the green energy nonsense, because you lied to us. If green energy was a big deal, you wouldn't be putting up data centers in the middle of the state. They would either be on the water or they wouldn't frickin' be here, because that doesn't make any sense. And the amount of solar panels and windmills it takes to power one of these things is miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. And California has so many. They tried to put one in the desert in California. $2 billion they spent. Didn't work. So solar farms in California desert where there's sun all the time don't work. But these idiots are putting them in northern Michigan. Bro, you lost me. I'm out. So I call these people out by names. I wrote this article. Follow me on The Enjoyer. And I've had enough. There's a meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. that's virtual. I'm going. I use a porn star name every time that I go. So tomorrow I'm going to be Peter North in that bitch. I'm going to need security at one point. I like to troll because they say the name, so I don't want to, Barry McCocken or something. The loads. Yeah. But yeah, I go every month and I give them a little piece of my mind, and they hang up on me and they end my call, and that's the way it goes. But, I'm out here, man. I care deeply about this country, specifically Michigan. I want everyone to be happy. I don't like the big tech stuff, even Elon, it drives me nuts to an extent. And but at least he put his gigafactory in a part of Texas that was complete desolate, where that thing is no one was living there. That was a shit area. He got it for cheap and he's utilizing the best out of it. Great. So
he seems to be the one that knows what to do with these data centers. Like the thought of putting it in space where heat's not an issue and space is an issue and people aren't an issue seems to be a good idea. It doesn't seem too easy, but great things are never easy, right?
Right. No. And it's just something. So thanks for I appreciate you mentioning what I wanted to bring up and some things that I'm super passionate about. But today is our Thursday show, so we do have a top 5. I have my top 5. We want to continue that trend, and I think this week being the first days of spring, got to bring up the top 5 favorites. It's top 5 things that remind you of spring.
Top 5 things you think of when you think of spring. Yeah.
It's funny. 10 years ago, I would have said MTV Spring Break, BET Spring Break. Dude, that was the best TV ever. Man.
These kids do not know, man.
No.
When DMX was performing at MTV Spring Break, had a crowd of like 1 million people going crazy.
Oh my god.
Daytona Beach that was
that was appointment TV and just, oh my god, Carson Daly out there with some girls shaking their booties. It's like, let's go.
You had girls. You had contests where girls had to get their boyfriends aroused as quick as possible, and whoever got it as quick as possible won.
Oh
This is
yeah,
on
single.
cable
Yeah,
television.
yeah, yeah. That was
90s were crazy, man.
that was God. Singled Out with Carmen Electra out there. Dude, that was great. Great. That was like 13 years old. I mean, what do kids watch these days? Oh God, I don't even want to know.
They just go to porn instead. They get
Just straight to just maximize it straight there. Yeah, seriously. So
that was as close
mine are
as
going to
we had
be
to it back then.
mine are going to be very much. I don't know. I mean, mine are going to be interesting because I am like I said earlier. I'm an outdoorsman. Spring.
We don't need a whole bunch of preamble. Go ahead. Let's hit me with your list.
All right. So number 5 is outside exercise. Being in Michigan, being able to go for a run, being able to do things like that is super important to me. And I actually hate running, but I hate running on the treadmill more. And as we talked before with my like for Newports, got to even things out a little bit, so you got to get the lungs pumping, get it going, having the sun go down. It's not too hot where you're sweating your balls off. It's a beautiful time. I like running in the spring. I can't wait to do it. Very excited. Number 4, playoff hockey. Pistons run playoff hockey and basketball. We're moving into the final stages. We get into those. I love NBA more. I like NBA playoffs more than NHL playoffs. The Red Wings, that's a whole nother story. But I truly enjoy that. And so watching teams ramp up, and I don't think the season ends till the middle of June. So it's still technically spring, but love that time of TV. Great TV. Number 3, gardening. I grow all my own tomatoes. I grow all my own plants. Being able to break the soil, get some seeds down, just brings a smile to my face, man. And I love doing it. And it's something that I'm very proud of. My garden is very, very, very. The rats eat my freaking garden. That's another. It's so devastating, dude. I have this perfect tomato, get eaten by a rat, gotta throw it away. I want to cry.
They wait for it to get just ripe.
Just ripe. Yep, exactly. If not, you gotta pluck them green, put them in your freaking windowsill. It sucks. Number 2, we just talked about it. Tigers baseball, man. I just got chills. Being at Comerica, opening day on that same level. The opening day in Detroit is the best day of the year, other than the music festival. Which is that technically spring? Oh, I forgot Demph. Oh, geez.
Wow, that is spring, huh?
Yeah, I forgot Demph. All right, I'm gonna put a tie there.
Demph, it feels more summer.
Because it's just hot as hell. Yeah. And then number 1 for me is the Masters / golf.
Oh, okay.
The Masters is the number 1 thing that I like to watch on television. I would rather watch that than the Super Bowl. That beautiful green of Augusta is something I like. I'll never play there. I know I'll never play there. I'll never go there. It's so exclusive. It's so nice. It's beautiful. And I've kind of given up on golf, but I truly do enjoy that time, even of my life. But just getting back out there and swinging the clubs, man, is a beautiful thing. And then honorable mention, it's walleye season, fishing. We'll be in the Detroit River soon. I'll be jigging and ripping up walleye here in a couple weeks. So that's a pretty big deal for me. So.
Yeah, I feel yours, except for the golf. I could never get.
But the Masters, though. What about the?
The Masters. Oh yeah.
Oh, Max.
Unless Tiger Woods is coming back from the dead.
God, he looks old, but yeah.
Oh, is he?
He looks bad.
Here we go. My top 5 spring things, the top 5 things I think of when I think of spring. Number 5, flowers. My mom is a garden designer, and so like you, planting stuff, just flowers, blooming, new life coming, new greenery coming from the ground, the soil. It really, that's something I really think of with spring. My mom she starts. When I was a kid, business would pick up and she'd be all busy, drawing landscape designs and then going gardening, and I'd have to go pull weeds from the garden. And I always enjoyed it. I think flowers are pretty cool how different they are. And, they're beautiful. Number 4, pastel colors, kind of along the same lines as flowers.
Cute.
But, you don't see those colors until the sun comes out. The girls wearing the yellows, the light blues.
Yeah.
The pinks, that stuff. Honorable mention, when the shorts come out. Yeah. But Yeah, when the pastel colors come out, that really reminds me of spring. You see that pretty much only in the spring. Number 3, Easter and Passover, the two holidays. Being a father now, I love to take my kid to Easter egg hunts. Passover is huge in our households. We'd have a big Seder. Everyone comes over. You stop eating bread for a week. You have to eat tons of matzah. You hear the story of Passover. You watch the movie, The Ten Commandments. It really sets the mood. Number 2, opening day. Not a big baseball fan, but I watch opening day every single year.
Got to.
I probably watch opening day and then the playoffs and maybe a few Scooble games in between. If Scooble's pitching, then I'll watch
Sure.
opening day. And maybe if this spaz that we got is pitching, maybe I'll check him out a few times too.
Yeah.
But besides that, not too interested in the baseball. Number 1, the first thing I think of when I think of spring is allergies. I'm a lifelong allergy sufferer. I'm talking itchy eyes, runny nose, scratchy throat, sneezing, coughing, all of it. I've broken out in hives before. Just the absolute worst, nonstop runny nose. Ever since I moved to Sonoma, things have been really good. My allergies have calmed down a lot.
I was going to ask that.
But it's really weird because a lot of people around here have really bad allergies. So I think I'm just lucky. I think I've reduced some stressors in my life that has helped my allergies a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, allergies, number 1 thing I think of when I think of spring.
That's funny. 5 is flowers, which brings out certain allergies, and it's just
pollen. Yep.
It's just how it goes. I'm very fortunate. I have every other problem, but I don't have allergies. So that's something I'm blessed with. And so, but you're allergic to cats too.
I feel like my allergies would have kept me home from the draft if I got drafted to Vietnam. I got allergies, man. I cannot go.
Straight up. Speaking of, they did just raise the enlist rate. You can now go when you're 42. So we got to keep your head on a swivel. I know you're just a few months ahead of me, but you never know. All this World War III talk, Max.
Hey, I can go defend Israel.
Right. Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this guy Caleb Hammer who's on YouTube who does these financial audits. He's a really good show, but everybody that's on there is on military disability for anxiety and stuff. And so my retirement plan might be just go sign up next year and just drop out with anxiety and then get paid $2,000 a month from the government. Fuck it.
Not
Everyone else is doing
plan.
it. I know.
We might have to erase this part from the podcast.
I mean, everyone else is doing it. They're not. It doesn't seem like benefits are ending anytime soon. The VA hospital is a different whole deal, though. You don't want to end up there. That's not a good place.
Right. Yeah.
But the one thing that we did talk about, I don't know if you want to just wrap up with kind of continuing from one story we had a couple weeks ago, was the Rihanna story. Just to get into something a little bit more national that we kind of brought up. But
sure,
I've been rambling the whole time.
The Rihanna situation. So you guys remember that she was shot. This woman, Ivana Lizette Ortiz,
kind of hot.
was just fired shots from an AR-15 at Rihanna's house from across the street through Rihanna's gate, just randomly. She accused Rihanna of something. It seems like she's probably schizophrenic or has some sort of mental disability or disorder. But she was arraigned yesterday. And she entered a plea of not guilty. And it turns out that at first we reported that ASAP Rocky was not there and we weren't sure if Rihanna was there or if the kids were there. Turns out Rihanna, ASAP, and all 3 of their children were there. Rihanna's mom was there and 2 staff members were also there at the shooting.
What?
And Rihanna and ASAP, they were inside of an Airstream camper on the property during the shooting, which I think they were trying to make a 4th baby inside there.
Wait. That's the craziest part of the story. What are they?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They're in the camper on the property. I guarantee they were in there trying to make baby number 4, bro. I mean, what else are you doing in there? You're just
playing
hanging
video
out,
games or something.
making music? Is that where the
Smoking?
studio is? Yeah,
Maybe
smoking,
blazing?
Maybe.
But hang on.
They were having sexual intercourse.
I can't believe that they worked that hard to have this big a house. It's like, hey, everyone, you get to the freaking camper. We're going into the whatever 10 however expensive the place is.
I know the ones who made the money are in the camper. Everyone else is in the mansion.
God, dude, it's so backwards sometimes, man. You always find out like, you know, the stars are living in certain places and their parents have just these multi-million-dollar homes and stuff that they pay for.
You know what they say though? Once you're famous, you can't buy privacy. Like they just want their privacy. They just probably want to be alone. You know, they got people there watching the kids. Grandma's there. The 2 staff members, they're probably just there for the kids. One's probably a chef and housekeeper or something.
Yeah, it's shocking. No security, and you know, we kind of joked about it, but that ASAP, you know, wasn't
that's
locked.
What the staff members were. Maybe they were security.
Yeah, but ASAP
I couldn't imagine. If you're a celebrity, you want to live with security. You want security at your house 24/7. I couldn't imagine that they have like live-in security.
Oh, man, that'd be such a tough thing to deal with. And there's that whole deal, the Chapel Roan girl. She's been on the news lately because some little girl came up to her at breakfast or something, and she had her 6'6" security guard, you know, get her out of there, and it's made national news. And she was saying, I don't want to be, you know, stop hugging me in public. And I can't blame her for that. I mean, everyone's calling her out from being rude, but I said, I just, how much, you know, being an athlete or something and signing autographs for days and hours and trying to eat dinner, dude, that would get so frustrating. And that's, you know, it's the only terrifying, I think. You know.
I saw this clip of John Cena at a coffee shop, and some guy comes up to him and he just starts singing. The guy's just walks up, and you know, Cena is really fucking cool. If you see his fan interactions, I met Cena in a radio interview, and so it was a little different, but he was so cool and so friendly to every single person that was around. Any fan that he saw, he was super friendly to. This guy comes up to him, he's sitting drinking a coffee, and the guy just starts singing, and Cena's like, do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello before you start singing? And the guy's like, yeah, hi, I just sing to everyone I meet. And he's like, hi, please don't sing. And he just shook his head and sat back down, and the guy like walked off embarrassed as fuck.
That's so real quick. So Max, you worked for JLB for here. How long did you work at WJLB for?
10 years.
10 years. You dealt with everybody. Your Diddy story with Mr. Chase is something that always pops in my head. But who was the person that was truly if you could put somebody that was nicest and somebody that was the worst, like totally closed off, even with you guys, is there somebody that comes to mind that's that
pretty easy? Yeah, both. I have a pretty quick answer to both of those. Okay, okay. The nicest were always the rappers from Atlanta. Like rappers from the South were always the nicest. They super hospitable. You know, the hospitality.
Southern hospitality,
like T.I. and Ludacris. T.I. and Ludacris were 2 of the nicest dudes I ever met. They both brought, like, breakfast for the whole show. They didn't tell us or anything. They brought breakfast. They're sitting there kicking it with us for hours. You know, just sat there talking, laughing, cracking jokes for hours.
And that's the morning show grind, too, where that's not recorded. You're like in there at 6. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah. The worst, well, it wasn't because he wasn't humble, but my worst interaction with someone was also a rapper from the South, actually, but Master P.
Really?
Like, yeah. But he was really cool to everyone except me. It was the deal. And I was an intern. I think I was 19 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And maybe I was hired. But he had new music out, and this is like 2008 Master P, and he had a meaningful song in fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
He wanted us to play his whole album. And somehow I turned into the messenger that had to tell him, like, yo, we can't play the whole album. We can play, you know, like a couple minutes from one song, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yo, man, who the fuck are you? I should fuck you up right now. What are you doing telling me what I can and can't play? Like, he was threatening to kick my ass straight up.
He's like 6'6", too.
Oh, he's a big fucking dude. Yeah. He got up in my face. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Can't do it. Sorry.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
That's what I feel like that was part of your growing process, where like they make the frat kid like the pledges. They're like, all right, Max, time to grow up here. Get your ass out there.
The wolves on multiple occasions.
Yeah, I remember when my boss in Florida made me fire somebody for the first time, and I was just like, yeah, you're right here though. He's like, get out there and tell him to never come back. And I'm like, God darn it, like fuck. And yeah, man, I felt like shit for 2 days, you know, like I'm sure, you know, but did they make fun of you? Did the crew make fun of you when you went back? Like,
no,
the next day?
They were proud of me for standing up to fucking Master P and not crumbling under the pressure. But like, I wasn't scared or nervous or anything. I was just like, sorry, man, can't do it. And like, then I started to get pissed when he started, because you know me, like I'm naturally kind of run a little hot. So like he starts trying to kick my ass. I'll fight you, Matt. I didn't say it, but like I'm like, yo, if Master P punches me, I'm punching him right fucking back.
Oh yeah, you know? Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, we're gonna fight, and this is gonna be a real story. And this is before social media or anything, so it just would have been. I would have had a story how I got my ass kicked by Master P.
And he was worth hundreds of millions at that point too.
Yeah, he's worth tons of money. Yeah,
he still sits on some of those charts. He still pops up on some of those lists. It just how the hell did he keep
had that? The gold toilet on MTV Cribs. He had the whole like golden bathroom.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Little Romeo.
I was so shocked. Like when he asked us to play the whole album, everyone was cool that I had ever told. Like we can only play one song. You know, you intro it. We can play like a verse and the hook. Blah blah blah, and everyone's like, "Okay, cool, thanks." Well, he was the only person who I ever got like pushback from, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm ready for this."
Sometimes they need to hear it, man. Sometimes people just don't. They're just surrounded by yes men, and just the slightest bit of confrontation or no just flips them out. So
also, I think it was because I was the youngest person there. I was the only white person there. And like the young white dude's gonna fucking stop me from playing my music.
Yeah, I'm sure that triggered something from something. But but good for you, dude. That's awesome. I've never asked you that before, and you know I've never heard, I wouldn't even know where to begin. You just never know, especially when it's that early in the morning and guys are, you know, that Radio Row just gauntlet is tough. So
I have a great one with that I didn't have a negative experience with. Well, you know what? Yeah, I did have a negative. Monique, the comedian Monique.
Okay.
You know Monique?
Oh yeah.
So she came to the studio in California at KMEL twice. The first time she came there, I didn't tell her that we were going to be shooting video. But by this time, it's like 2016, 17, every radio show shooting video for every single interview.
Right.
You know, everyone was doing it.
Breakfast Club made that a regular thing.
Exactly. I prepped them beforehand, blah, blah, blah. And she comes in the studio and she's like, "Oh, you didn't tell me we're going to be filming?" And like, "No, you got to be more professional. You got to learn how to do your job. You got to tell me you're recording, blah, blah, blah." And then she left the studio and like talked with her team for like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, "Yo, we don't have to record the video if you don't want to." You know, whatever. Yeah. And she was like, "No, I'll do it, blah, 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 but you got to tell me, blah, 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 blah." I was like, you got all this fucking makeup done. You've been on like 3 other shows this morning. You just came from the news.
Right.
Whatever, Monique. And so we did the interview. It went fine, whatever. She comes back a year later, and I'm prepared, you know, and I prep her. I do a rundown in the green room.
3 times.
I'm telling them, I'm like, and actually, I took care of the video before, like when we were setting up the interview. I was like, "There's going to be video."
Yeah.
And beforehand, I'm like being super nice to her. I don't think she remembers the interaction from a year ago because she gets into it with everybody.
Yeah. Some people are just built that way, man. They just want a problem.
And I'm being super friendly. "Can I get you guys anything?" Blah 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 blah. And whatever. They come in the studio for the interview, and the host Sana G just. I sit Monique down in her seat, and she has another comedian, a male comedian with her who she's trying to like help promote. And I sit them down, and Sana G doesn't introduce herself or anything, and she's just like, "All right, let's get this going. I got to go. Let's get this started. I don't got time to waste," something like that. And she starts the interview and just starts recording, and then Monique refuses to address Sana G during the interview, and there's like 2 other guys there, so there's multiple people there, and she refuses to address Sana G. And then Sana asks her a question. She's like, I'm not going to answer you because, you didn't even say hi to me. You were rude to me when I got here. You did this, you did that. And Sana G was always rude to guests like that. Like, she kind of thought that her shit doesn't stink, and that, like, she was always in a rush and kind of just had to fucking get shit going. And this is the first person to call her out on it. And Sana was like, oh, no, boo, that's not what I was doing. We just got a show to do. And, you were here and we're doing the show. The tension was so fucking high. And this was around the time that Monique was getting a lot of flack she was bitching about Netflix paying Jerry Seinfeld like $20 million for a special, and they only offered her like a few $100,000. So she was going viral, like, for bitching at other people about this shit.
Yeah.
But Sana G poked the bear, and she got all of that fucking Monique 300-pound bear right in her face, dude.
Dude, and what is Monique doing now? Like, is she even on the touring anymore?
Yeah. She probably does stand up. But
yeah, it probably, and she's not at, I would know if she's doing it at stadiums or something. She's got to be just a club comic. I mean, talk about, like, you got to take it when a couple 100,000, girl, is good. I mean, you gotta do it, and especially when Netflix was paying back then. You're comparing yourself to Jerry Seinfeld, lady. Yeah. Get out of here. That's not even Jerry Seinfeld makes 200,000 per episode on syndication television, dude. That's nuts.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I'm gonna insert the.
So when I walk into here, son, and you don't even introduce yourself. That's why, if you notice, I had to direct my conversation somewhere else till your energy got right, till you then decided to say, okay, now let me introduce myself, because I can't talk to someone that just says, you ready, let's go. That's why I have to say, we got to learn how to respect,
but you also weren't even making eye contact with me the whole first part of the interview.
I couldn't, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Because we walked in, you didn't even address us, sis.
Well, I was busy wrapping up something else with the
I understand, my
so I apologize
but
for
when
that.
It's your show, because I've had those. I'm sure you know. We always make sure that we welcome in our guests, because without our guests, we don't have a show. Okay. So even when I'm at my busiest and people walk into my place, I have to stop and say, how you doing, baby? I'm Monique. And
I did say hello. I just didn't say my name.
Okay, sweetness.
She was in there for a fight to begin with. She was not having any of that shit, and that's crazy. And you had to deal with that so much, man. That's it's so impressive that, like, just people's feelings plus the producing plus everything else.
Massaging egos. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much massaging of egos.
You try to make a joke and they take it the wrong way, and then they're just not doing it. They're being difficult for no reason. And like you said, it's 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. You just get people off a long night and a bad mood, and sometimes it just gets from bad to worse. And no, that's impressive, dude. Very impressive. I'm glad I asked that. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we're going to that's it for today. We're gonna get back at it next week. We only did one show this week. We have family in town. I was on the road, but we're gonna get back at it. We're gonna keep doing these things and getting them recorded, and kind of bring this more local. But yeah, we're looking forward to see everybody next week. Delinquent Dialogue, subscribe, and Delinquent Pod 2 on X, and Mad Max 313 on YouTube. Anything else, Max?
No, just share this video. If you enjoy it, share it with someone who you think would like it too. Perfect
timing. Tigers are on opening day in 10 minutes. Go Tigs, and we'll see everybody in the next one.